Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Roca Pizzeria, Government Street here in Mid-City. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, and Jordan Kinch is back in the studio. Glad to be back after a couple of days off for Mardi Gras. And we enter now the Lenten season. Jimmy, you guys hold the fort down without me. Thanks.
Yeah,
Good to
Max
take
did
a
it
couple
by
days
himself.
off.
Took the day off yesterday, and so it was.
Thanks to Max.
Yeah, Henry. Heck, I was more positive about the All-Star Weekend in the NBA than Henry, but I see that I'm kind of in the majority on this one, believe it or not. So
It got some positive
it really
reviews.
did. And I now Troy said it was not much handle, but you had Scheffler storming back once 100-1. He was betting favorite at one point at Pebble Beach, which. Man, those pictures are unbelievable on the coast in Carmel, Monterey. And so, but in Olympic hockey, man, we got a great one going on right now, 2 apiece. 6 minutes, 6:50 to go in the second period. Canada just tied it up, so the Czechs giving to Canada all they could handle early.
That is in the quarterfinals at the Olympics. We also got LSU baseball this afternoon, game with Nichols here in about 2 hours. It looks like we'll have good weather for that. So
where are they playing? At the box?
Yeah.
Okay.
At 1 o'clock.
Why afternoon? I don't like that.
He's moved the February
back retro, man.
Yeah, February games to the afternoon.
This is back with
because
it's
weather.
just,
Now
yeah.
it's warmer than it usually is right now, but
right.
Foresight to say, hey, look, we don't want to be out there in 40-something degree temperatures or worse, and so we'll move them to the afternoons.
Yeah,
and including opening day, which was at 2 o'clock, and gave everybody plenty of notice. They're going to Jacksonville for the 3 games this weekend after they finish this game, which will be 5 in 6 days. So that's coming up at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, this will be some better competition for them.
Yeah, facing.
That's going to be the peak of the non-conference schedule.
Yes.
Okay.
It will be this weekend. Last night, LSU falls 2-11 in SEC play. 88-85 at Texas. Tigers were down big at the half, came back in the second half to make it close, fought back and got it to a one-possession game, but Texas was able to get a bucket every time they needed to hold off LSU and get the win. Max McKinnon returned in this game. He had 27 points. They brought him off the bench, though he played 33 minutes. So just, I guess, kind of a precautionary thing there. It's sort of the, a lot of the same problems that have plagued LSU for most of the year, and the majority of them have been on defense. And Texas shot 56% from the floor again last night. They shot 54% from three-point range, and they got a ton of open looks. Even in the second half, when the offense wasn't quite as good as it was in the first half for Texas, they got a ton of open looks. There was also a spell in the first half, particularly, I would say, from about the 10-minute mark to the 5-minute mark, where LSU missed a lot of shots at point-blank range, a lot of shots in the paint, very makeable shots, and that's when the lead started to swell. And went from 7 to 15 in about a 4 or 5 minute stretch there, and well, that's it. Even with Texas missing a whole slew of free throws, they were able to get the victory, and LSU drops to 2-11.
LSU's they're more they winning the money on the road more than they are. Yeah.
They cover again.
Were you on social media during the game last night by any stretch?
Not too much, no.
Seemed like, moral victory type of victory lap by the LSU basketball social media outlet. During the game, hey, we're on a roll. We're like suspicious, Charlie.
This is the official account,
I'm
or
pretty damn sure.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, like
those guys are challenged to find positives.
I think somebody even mentioned that. Said, "Man, this is the toughest job in the world."
Yeah.
I get you, but hey, we were close, dude. You ain't playing close. You ain't paying close salary.
No.
It's not a moral victory payroll for the team, for the roster.
Right.
I'll be honest
with you. I think we're getting to the point in the season. It's 5 games left, plus the one in the SEC tournament probably, and then that's it. And so it's starting to get to the point where people are looking forward to say, all right, what's next? And you're getting very mixed signals, I think, out of the athletic department right now. Barry Josberry was on with Matt yesterday, and I'm going to read you the quote, okay? It says, we have 18 sports ranked in the top 25 in our athletic department. We're going to try to win in every sport, but I have to admit to you that it's going to be very expensive to do that. Men's basketball, we're going to assess the program at the end of the year. Dr. Roos, Chairman of the Board, Lee Mallett, we're all going to get together and just try to figure out where we are in basketball. And here we go. We've got to be financially responsible to the institution of LSU in making these decisions. I'm not going to be moving coaches around and firing coaches to fire a coach. We're going to do this in an intelligent way and try to make sure this is the right thing to do at this time. So what he's telling you in these statements, and I heard him make similar comments to Glenn Gilbo a couple of weeks with Tiger Rag, is, listen, we're going to look at this at the end of the season. We may not have enough money to fire him. Okay. That's how I'm reading this thing. Because if you're going to look at this,
no other way to read it, Charlie.
Yeah, if you're going to look at this and say from a basketball standpoint, there is no defense to the basketball product that has been put out for 4 years. I mean, none. At 9 out of 10 other SEC schools, he would have been fired last year.
Worse conference record than Curly Hallman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, does that ring a bell? I mean, you're a football guy, huh, Verge?
Right.
I mean, worse than Curly Hallman. Worst coach to ever come through that athletic department.
And among the worst 4-year records in modern SEC basketball, in conference play. Only, I think Tom Crean's going to be underneath him, but it's a pretty short list. There's no basketball defense for this, okay? They're in last place again. You spent more money. Last year it was, well, we're not spending enough money, so they spent more money, and you're still in last place, okay? A number of these games you haven't been competitive in. 2 of the teams near the bottom of the league, South Carolina and Mississippi State, you've played at home and have never led. A lot of these games have been double-digit blowouts. You weren't blown out last night. The game was a 3-point game, but a lot of these games you've been blown out at. You do not have a monster recruiting class lined up. I mean, you have to tell me there's no defense for the basketball.
You had to pay 4 times the going rate for a guy like DeDan Thomas. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you're going to have to overpay for any roster. He's not going to hustle any private ownership. Private ownership isn't going to be excited about this. They're done. They cooked the books to try and finagle some money around to give them the $9.2 million for this payroll this year. Okay, but you can't. And so, could they afford to fire Brian Kelly? No, but for the right guy,
right?
Okay, there is a right guy out there. Now, if you just take, for instance, who they interviewed, and they were blown away by Eli Drinkwitz, what would the excitement level? Would you have the 50,000 waiting list or whatever the hell it is?
44,000.
44,000 waiting list for if you hired Eli Drinkwitz? Of course not. No, that would have been, you'd have been better suited just to stay with Brian Kelly. Mm-hmm. If you go hire the your guy, say they go bring in a guy from St. Louis.
Yeah, Josh Schwartz.
Is that going to excite some? But is that going to be? But there's a right guy out there that if you do make it, it'll be instant excitement.
Yeah, and you're talking about Will Wade. Outside of Will Wade, I don't know that there's
I understand.
There's a name out there. Now, you brought in somebody like Schwartz or somebody else that is coming from a mid-major that's got a good record. Is that going to shock it right off the bat? No. But if they get in the transfer, think about when Will got here, okay? It was, okay, the first press conference was in the Union. It was kind of exciting. And it's like, okay, well, let's see what this guy can do. We don't know. And, boy, he hit the ground running. Pow. Okay, so if the new guy hits the ground running, pow, you go out and you snare 1 or 2 really high-profile kids for next year. well, then the momentum would start to build. But right off the bat, no, I mean, they're not going to go out and, hire a name that's going to, oh, my good, like Lane Kiffin, okay? I mean, who they're not going to go hire Jay Wright, okay? Jay Wright's not coming out of retirement. So there's not really a name outside of Wade. Everybody knows who Wade is. The casual basketball fans know who Wade is. So,
and if you brought in Will Wade, what would the atmosphere be like?
It would be off the charts.
You can't bring in a guy that, because he's had some previous work here, and they know that he will put out a competitive roster immediately. Mm-hmm. So you know that, and so there would be instant excitement. Would Will Wade? Did you see the environment last night in Raleigh?
Yeah.
I mean, is he willing to leave that after 1 year? He would get stained. He would get they take their shots, and it'd be to get him out of there, you're going to have some administrative commitment. Now, are they kind of stacking the deck administratively? The president, President know him. How about some other board members?
Lee Mallett and Wade Roos know him very well.
Huh?
They know him very well. And he knows the deal here. He knows he doesn't have to. A new coach that comes in here is going to have to introduce himself to boosters, and 30 minutes later ask them to scratch a check. Okay, it's not easy. Okay, it's got to.
I get it.
Wade knows all those guys.
Okay,
so
but
you have that built in.
So
for you.
Status quo, you got to give McMahon some money.
Yeah,
but you're not going to give him the same amount as what he gave him, as what he's hired.
Okay,
don't you think? The guy's lost. I mean, you threw this. How can you justify giving this guy the same amount of money? If you're going cheap, go cheap. Tell him to go hustle his own money.
I think the revenue share would probably be the same as it was last year. It's just built in that way. But I think that the NIL stuff would be diminished.
They moved some money around, Charlie, to get over $9 million. Okay,
yeah, and that was NIL money, not rev share money. So as long as we're saying it's less money overall, okay, doesn't really matter.
It's LSU money.
Yeah, it's LSU
because
money.
He doesn't have private ownership.
Right.
He doesn't work. So you got that stay status quo, and you're going to lose someone. You're going to give him some. Okay, and it's not going to be enough because the kids are going to go. If it's equal amount, they're going to go to the stronger program.
Yep.
So you're going to have to overpay, and so you're not going to be competitive. We've seen the X's and O's. They don't play defense. This is horrendous. The Will Wade isn't obvious. You hit it out the park there, and then you can justify that. But you're going to have to give him some administrative. But you make up, and then just a guy like St. Louis coach. That's kind of in between. Mm-hmm. But how can you afford to stay status quo, and to have 1,000 season ticket holders? And less than that actual attendance. You're not selling any concessions. Who wants to NIL? Who wants a basketball player right now from this program, from this coach?
That's why I'm saying it's mixed signals out of that, because they're talking about it every time they open their mouth.
Oh, no, Verge is
it's because they're trying to get more revenue. Every athletic director in the country is trying to. The deal with Woodside Energy is a big deal for them. Okay. If you want to get more revenue on your campus, this is where you can get it from, okay? I'm sorry. The women's tennis, most talent ever, right?
Yes.
They're not producing any revenue. They could win the national championship. They're not producing any revenue.
But that coach hustled their own private ownership.
Okay. What I'm saying is you could be as good as you want in tennis, golf, track, swimming, diving, beach volleyball. This is the biggest revenue miss that you have on the campus.
Right.
Men's basketball.
So how can you not be committed to your second profit-producing sport?
And also, I respect the fact that Verge doesn't want to go out and trash the guy. He's got 5 games left. It's not going to do any good to fire him now, or to trash him and say, gosh, we're terrible.
Trash and everything. Just stick at the record. He's going to go down with the worst conference record in the history of LSU athletics.
Yeah.
Enough said.
And please, spare me with, I don't know if you had the volume up last night when you were watching the game.
No.
But this is 2 games in a row I've had the volume up. I've kind of reached my fill of the, LSU would be so much better if they just weren't decimated by injuries. And
oh, man.
I'm sorry. It's just not true, okay?
Come on, man.
Deon Thomas, I called him a nice player the other day, and you even took exception with that. He shot 34 in the 5 games. the 3 conference games plus the 2 non-conference games that were worth a flip, he shot 34% from the floor, or 36% from the floor. All right, they lost 4 out of those 5 games. Jalen Reed was coming back from an injury. He was averaging 11 points a game last year, 9.5 points a game this year in the limited action before he hurt himself. And I'm sorry the kid hurt himself because he seems like a good kid.
3 and 15 or 4 and
14.
Don't sell
right.
me luck. Don't sell me bad luck, bro.
They're not.
Man, go take that somewhere else.
It's not like you're down DeBoncha or Boozer or somebody like that. These are a couple of players that could definitely help you, but they're not guys that would have you at the top of the conference or even in the middle of the conference. So, I mean, I'm with you. You got to go sell out up the street.
I mean, give me a break, man. You can't. Let me guess. SEC Network last night.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, at the end of the season,
you look. You put on the Big Ten Network. They're trying to put lipstick on a pig for Penn State. Okay.
Yeah.
know.
If they make a move, we'll say okay. Well, they noticed. If they don't make a move, you say okay. Well, they couldn't afford it because there's no basketball. There's no basketball.
How can you afford to keep him?
It's not my money.
How can you afford to give him $1 of revenue share? How can you justify that?
I agree.
Man, you go hustle yourself if you want to keep your job.
I agree with you 100%. We're in lockstep.
I hear Verge. Don't sell me that Verge.
Look,
sell that down the street, bro.
It's a hard job. I get it.
Oh yeah, every sport, every coach wants better facilities. We want more budget. I get it.
It ain't
easy.
But
this is the second. I mean, come on, man.
There
isn't a basketball program 365 Division I. There is not one out there that gets outdrawn 10-1 actual attendance in their own business. Building by 2 sports.
And you don't have to be this bad. I'm sorry.
10-1, you're getting outdrawn. They don't get outdrawn by period.
For what you spent this year, you should not be in last place. Okay? You can make better sources. I understand you don't have as many resources as everybody else, but you have enough resources to be better than
Charlie,
this.
you see what's happening in the Big East right now? Creighton all of a sudden is sloughing. Patino's at St. John's. He's a rock star.
Marquette's down.
Marquette's this is the worst team Shaka Smart's ever had.
Yeah.
Okay? No, they're all down. They're all down. Seton Hall can't make it. And Shaheen Holloway's great, but he's got no budget. I mean, the best Big East coaches were trying to get to the SEC. My point is, it's never been easier to be good in basketball in the SEC. 14 made it last year. 10 or 11 are making it this year. It's never been easier in the SEC. And this guy is just, I mean, it's just a train wreck. And I understand, Verge, you had to bite off the big. Well, you wanted to get Kiffin. What are you going to do? Well, I don't know. Raise football prices. Whatever you got to do. Hustle. Get you some more energy sponsors. I don't know. Make it happen. But, I mean, don't tell me that you can't afford it, because you can't afford to run this back.
I would hope not.
Take it out 2-1 by 2 different sports.
I've been watching.
10-1, I'm sorry.
I've been watching. What's for lunch?
Even Max quit going to games.
When you lose Max.
When you lose Max,
man.
Max 2 years in a row said, yeah, this is a tournament team. I'm looking at.
Well, he hung in there. God bless him. He hung in there.
Max has heart. There's no doubt.
Eternal optimist.
Get on that unicycle, boy. We're live here at Roca Pizzeria, man. It's not just for pizza, but that Neapolitan pizza is outstanding over here, man. Some of the sandwich, that chicken cutlet sandwich with the St. Bruno local bread is outstanding. I had the eggplant Parmesan. It's different. It's not a little bit Parmesan melted cheese on it, a lot of gravy and stuff like that. It's more of a fresh butter, a mozzarella with some tomatoes. You talk about good. I'm getting that again for lunch today. They do a great pasta salad. Do all kind of their meatball appetizer good. The garlic knots is very popular for people to start off. And how about the happy hour too? Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. Half off all of our house cocktails, draft beer, and glasses of wine, and select pizzas as well. Man, it's very popular over here. But if the bar is full, happy hour is honored at all of the seating as well. Man, it's been busy, so reservations are not required, but they are certainly recommended for dinner time over here at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. New Handycast up, reviewing the first week in SEC baseball on YouTube right now. Brought to you by Supreme Rice, supporting our Louisiana farmers since the 1930s, celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026. Go to SupremeRice.com. Jimmy, you remember about 10 years ago, maybe a little over 10 years ago now, SEC basketball was in the toilet.
Yeah,
you had three teams making the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
and
LSU won the league by multiple games. It was an 8 seed.
And that was in 2009. and so we're still talking about like 2014, 2015 here in the toilet. So the league says, hey, we need to start paying attention to men's basketball. We need to get more than 3 teams in the tournament. So they call Mike Tranghese, the godfather of Big East basketball.
Yeah, spend more money. Okay.
Yeah, and what is it? Spend more money and do what? Schedule somebody, right? Well, for a while, the league was doing a pretty good job with that, and some people still are. But you look at what I'm going to call bubble teams right now in the league, and you see a real clear defining line between them. Right now, Joe Lunardi's latest bracketology has 10 SEC teams in. One of them is in the last 4 byes. One of them is in the first 4 out. I'm sorry, 2 of them in the last 4 byes, and one of them's in the first 4 out. And one of them is very safely in as an 8 seed. This is the conference standings right now. Texas A&M, Missouri, and Georgia all have better records in the conference than Auburn. But all of them are in more of a precarious position to make the NCAA tournament than Auburn. Why? Because A&M's non-conference schedule is 327. Mizzou's is 299. Georgia's is 259. And Auburn, who has a worse conference record than all 3 of those teams, is more safely in because their non-conference record strength of schedule was 4 in the country. So and I know Bruce Pearl put that schedule together before he left.
They got
but
14 quad 1 games.
Yeah,
which is Texas Tech has 14. They got a lot. The number 1 team in the country, Michigan, has 10. See, Michigan only played 2 quad 4. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the quad 4, the 3 teams: A&M 8, Missouri 8, Georgia 9. I mean, so those really.
When we harp on scheduling, this is why.
Well, even the RPI is always, in the end, it has always been that was too much schedule related, because it was 2/3 schedule related and 1/3 your win-loss record.
Right, and this is why I used to love the way Will Wade scheduled, and we used to talk about this a lot. He would schedule these games against teams that were mid-majors that looked like rental wins on paper if you didn't really dig into it. Like you throw a Belmont on the schedule. At the end of the season, you look up and Belmont's NET, well, right now it's 55. You look into, and they play somebody like Akron, 60. And usually what he looked for is these mid-majors that were going to be, now this is dated, senior laden. Okay, you got to watch the transfer portal so much more now. But you'd be able to do that to where it looks like a rental win on paper, but it didn't kill you the way some of these other things were. In LSU's non-conference schedule, by the way, is 292. It actually helped you a little bit. Some of these mid-majors that don't look like powers were actually higher than some of the conference teams you played. And you took a chance at losing some of these. I remember one year they lost to Utah State. And you're like, man, why you want to play a single-laden team like that? Well, it helped your power rating, okay? You took a loss, but it helped you in the power rating.
That's right. Utah State has an NET at 23. So the least amount of quad 4 games is Michigan, Purdue, and Alabama played just 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Texas Tech, teams that played just 3 quad 4s, Texas Tech, St. John's, and Arkansas. Then Utah State played 4. That's why they're top 25. That's why they're securely in. A lot of these teams play 5 or 6, but when you play an 8 and 9 like A&M, Missouri, and Georgia, you're burying yourself. And listen, A&M coach came in last minute, buckyball. I mean, the whole roster was put together in the late portal. I mean, and so he's been one of the biggest surprises. I mean, you're not going to kill him for, putting a trash schedule, non-conference schedule together, last minute. But, I mean, think about it. Look at the names, okay? St. John's, Patino, only 3. Calipari, only 3. Texas Tech, only 3. It just, the same cast of characters. 5, you got Illinois, Florida, UConn, Michigan State, BYU, NC State, North Carolina, Villanova, Clemson. I mean, these are the teams that are, that understand that they're going to play now. It's basketball. It's not football. You're not going to get, a ton of injuries because you play too tough of a non-conference schedule. And, I mean, Izzo and Kentucky, and they did it forever and ever, and they always secured their spot, even if they were a 500 team, because their schedule was so tough.
And you have to dig into it a little bit. For the average fan, okay, if you season ticket holder, is there any difference if you buy your season ticket between Tarleton State and Stephen F. Austin? I mean, just on the face value of it.
Charleston and Stephen F. Austin?
No, Tarleton State or Stephen F. Austin.
Oh, Stephen F. Austin is good.
Okay,
I mean,
that's kind of my point. But if you're a season ticket holder and you just look at Tarleton State, Stephen F. Austin, it doesn't move the needle. But on the NET, it moves the needle a great deal because Tarleton State's 210, Stephen F. Austin's 75.
Yeah.
And you got to go dig in and say, hey, who's going to be good? I don't want to play. I'll play a Missouri Valley team, but I don't want to play the 12th place team out of the Missouri Valley.
And I disagree with you a little bit as far as, because I thought it's a different game now. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he talked because the mid majors he was playing earlier in the season usually were much older than him.
They were.
And I thought they were at a disadvantage. So you risking, I thought that you're playing them at the wrong time. The older teams with the continuity in their roster and not a whole lot of changeover is going to be. It's going to be tough to play those teams early.
Yeah.
But now it's different. Any mid majors worth a damn. Those guys are going somewhere else.
Right.
So it's different. So I disagree a little bit with it, but I understand you just can't go wrong with scheduling tough non-conference. Now, Georgia, dipped into the high 30s now, the big win at Rupp last night. That's probably going to get them in. NC State could not afford another home loss, especially against a team that was down. Well, they give North Carolina the worst loss in that series in 64 years. I mean, that place was popping.
UNC down to two best players, but still, that.
You could not afford another home loss.
Right.
I mean, they were up 7 with a minute to go on Saturday against Miami. So it's.
You beat North Carolina. I don't care what. If you're NC State, you beat North Carolina. Big deal.
NC State's a tournament team, but they just could. They had to take care of business last night. Well, they shot over 50% from 3. To start the game. So don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title. For all of your real estate closings, 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get with our long-standing staff. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Uh-oh, they let the big dog out.
Boom! Out of nowhere.
It's time for the big dog, Randy McKay, with his best picks.
Big dog, what's going on, my man?
Not too much. Watching an exciting hockey game here. 2-2 tie so far with the Canadian team here against Chechnya, and of course they got the Czechs here, so hopefully they can hang on for me.
What number did you get, Randy? I saw all kinds of crazy, a lot of variance on the numbers for this game.
I took the plus 2.5 at like plus 150, 140. I took a little bit of each of that, so so hopefully they hang in there and not lose by or just hang in there and hopefully maybe even pull the upset here.
Did you see some plus 3.5s to 1.5s? I think I did.
Yep. There's a 3.5. You could have won a lot of ways with it. There's a 3.5 where you could have laid a little juice with them, or a 1.5 where you really would have got a nice plus.
So this is a rematch of pool play, right? When Canada put it on them pretty good.
Yep, 5-0 that first game. They were playing right with them in that first period and gave up the late goal there with 5 seconds left, and that kind of opened the door for Canada. And then the second period got ugly for them. But we're seeing the true talent of, they got Pasternak and some of these other guys. Natchez are pretty good players here and they got a good goalie, like we mentioned, Dostal, that's keeping them in the game.
Yeah, they Canada tied it up on a power play in the middle of the second period. So 2-2, 16.5 minutes to go in the third period. And, Well, I mean, if you got any U.S. To win the gold, I mean, no doubt who you're pulling for here, man. This would make the U.S., which is, I think I saw about plus $2, Randy, before the action started today. That would make them the favorite, huh?
Yeah, and definitely U.S. is a little too high in this game against Sweden. Unfortunately, they got to play Sweden. It was a bad spot for the U.S. Sweden didn't play very well. And now they got to play like one of the tougher teams here. So I took the plus goal and a half with Sweden. So hopefully U.S. can sneak in there and win by one.
Okay. Plus 1.5. What kind of odds did you get? It's basically about pick 'em, minus 110.
Yeah, there's some 110s out there. 115 is fine too.
110, 115. So what's the difference between this? The first Canadian win over the Czechs 5-0, and now this one 2-2 in the third.
No, things get tightened up. These teams that play a little bit more closer to the vest, a lot less wide open ice, and familiarity helps too with this Czech team. So we're seeing all that coming into play.
We saw in college basketball last night another, and I went against it. Good night in Otterlocks, 4-1 on the internet. I added the Minutemen of UMass, so 4-2 on the phone call with Matt's show. But the Texas Tech with that big win in Tucson on Saturday, and then they kind of get tripped up. We've seen some of these others as well. I mean, the emotional wins. I mean, the emotional hangover in college football and basketball. And, man, it seems like every time somebody pulls a big win, and there you go. Got another one because that was the emotional win on Monday night for Iowa State. Iowa State now goes to Provo Saturday to take on BYU up in the altitude.
Yeah, and you saw Texas Tech probably get distracted by that curtain that they have wasn't it at Arizona State, if I remember right?
Oh, they got a curtain because they can't draw enough fans, huh?
No, they do that. The opponents are shooting at the college end there. They pull out that curtain and they do a whole bunch of acts in front of it, and it's actually proven to be a really good move by them because there's statistical information that says that distracts the opposing players. It actually helps the free throw percentage again. So it's pretty funny to watch. But I got like 5 plays for you guys if you want me to go through the college basketball.
Okay, go ahead.
Have available. So there's like 11 bets we have, but there's like 5 still available. Missouri Valley rotation number 675. We got Bradley. I think there's a 1.5 out there. We got the best team, one of the better teams in the Missouri Valley traveling there, and that should be a pretty good spot. They're taking on Valparaiso, so that should be a pretty decent one. The next one, 698 East Carolina +8, and they got a bad record, but they've been really good at home, and especially in covering. So Wichita coming in there to East Carolina should be a decent spot. So +8 on number bet rotation 698.
Okay.
The next one, 736. I like to give rotation numbers, and then people can find it a lot easier. At least I can, anyway.
Gotcha.
Kind of the old school way of doing it. Another team that's been covering real good, but of course we know this Virginia team's a juggernaut here. But Georgia Tech here at home getting 13.5. We took that one as well. So another team that's been good at covering, especially at home. So a little home value. And then getting into your SEC country here, Auburn's at Mississippi State. And this line's been open 3.5. It's up to 5. And we see some value here with the home team here at +5, and that's betting number 742.
Okay.
And then the last one is one you've been talking about, Arizona BYU. We're on the Cougars here with that, they got that really good player. And they played a couple weeks ago, they played a really, tight game against Arizona. And of course, it was in Provo, and this one's, of course, in Tucson. So, but +13 here, I think this is too high of a spread. And we've seen Arizona get beat a couple times here lately, so see this being a close game as well.
You quoted some even numbers. More and more of the mobile betting sites that we have available here in Louisiana, like BetMGM, like DraftKings, like BetRivers, FanDuel. No even numbers are available. Caesars is the only one I see that will occasionally put an even number out, though, and that's for sides and totals. So everything's on the half point.
Oh, wow, that can get some extra value for you guys if you're out there line shopping. So, yeah, definitely take advantage of that. Whether you like the favorite or the dog, getting extra half points is always a nice thing.
I think Bet365 has an occasional, they're available in Louisiana as well, an occasional even number. So DraftKings is they used to allow you to buy onto the whole point from a half a point. It's no longer allowed. So, and Bet Rivers was the last one to do that. That's no longer allowed with them as well. So I know that if you go down in person to Beau Rivage, you can buy it to the whole point, but it costs you 15 cents. It's getting a little pricey there. So that's something I like to do in college basketball, with numbers in single digits, because it seemed like, you get a little bit more mileage out of buying that half a point because the difference between a loss and a push is 10% more than a win in a push. But, they're no longer available around. So
yeah,
I know when
we take away the good stuff sometimes, unfortunately, and that's one of the better things you can find on the lowers. Actually, it's beneficial for you to buy the half point if it's a decent juice, like you stated before.
Yeah. What do you think about the Rampart in South Point? With Chris Andrews and Vinny Maniolo, Colucci, and all those guys going to Caesars as their provider.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about that. I guess they're marketing a whole new thing. I guess it's not going to affect South Point, so it's just kind of like a new take over there. And, I talked with Colucci about a month ago or so. I saw him at Don DeMarco's, and he was actually kind of excited. He's always excited anyway, but he was extra excited about this move, so we'll see how it works out.
He gets, he's an excitable person now. You know that, Randy.
Yeah, he really is.
Charlie, you had something?
No, there's nothing to add to that.
So you guys, that's where you're doing the podcast, and they do at what's it called? Diana Marcos, the Italian place?
Yeah, Don DeMarco's Pizzeria in Summerlin there. Every Wednesday they have a Jim Feist is the host, the old handicapper from times ago, and they invite some of us in there once in a while, and we get to go in there and have some good food and talk sports.
I know you're knocking back
12 o'clock on Wednesdays.
What's your favorite thing to eat there, Big Dog?
There's a lot of options there. The pizza's really good, and of course I've had some of their pastas, and I tried the cannoli for the first time. And me being a Norwegian, I've never had a cannoli, so that was a pretty nice little treat too.
Did you grow up cross country skiing, Grandy?
No, I was never that energetic about doing it. I did some downhill skiing, but that has passed me by. No more. I don't think my body could even hold up going down the hill once.
So what is your thoughts on some of, we heard the handle was down for Super Bowl in Las Vegas, Nevada overall. Derek Stevens went publicly and said he talked to some of his bigger players, from the California area, and they said they was playing it on Kalshi, staying home and just, doing their own parties. We saw that the stocks of some of the mobile betting sites has taken a hit because of Kalshi. Where do you think that whole thing is going? Do you think some governing and some regulations is coming soon to the poly market?
Yeah, we'll see what becomes of this. Like I said before, Donald Trump Jr. is one of their on their board, so that might be favorable for them. So
is on what board?
There, I believe he's on the board of Kalshi.
Okay.
So that might favor them keeping their access. So we'll see how that goes, or see if any rewarding of that, and we'll see how the politicals get into that. But till it does, the guy should be checking that out as well. But it's unfortunate. I'm a fan of more the brick and mortar Nevada books, old school.
Right.
Like we've talked about. So I hate to see that, and of course, some of it didn't work out far as these books cutting off people. So that's led kind of a bad taste in the mouth with the FanDuels and the DraftKings as well.
Yeah. That's, people being limited and things like that because, they're having a little success. Well, the Czechs are really peppering the Canadian goaltender right now. About 3 shots on goal, still in the Canadian zone. So threatening here with 10 minutes to go to take the lead, but Canadian goaltender hanging in there. All right, Bradley, East Carolina, Georgia Tech, Mississippi State, and BYU. Follow Randy on Twitter at RR39. Randy, good luck, man. Thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, this Olympic hockey, really exciting, fun to watch. If anybody, even new people would get into this, I mean, especially as, the run for the United States, and that should get you going for the game. And, this is what hockey is. So enjoy, and good luck, everybody out there.
Thank you, big dog. Yeah, no doubt. I don't care what
hopefully a lot of Freebird song, too, going here. We'll talk about Leonard Skinner next week.
Yes, indeed. All right, Randy. Thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you next week. Don't forget our friends over at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of southern Louisiana for over 50 years. Our great team of bankers, Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, and David Henry. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Getting the hang of this hockey, Charlie.
Czechs
I could feel it coming.
They got a goal?
They did. 7.5 minutes to go, man. If they can hold on, this really opens up the door for the U.S. Now, the U.S. got their own tough one. If Big Dog's on Sweden, I mean, he doesn't want to be on Sweden. But, man, they were just controlling the match, and finally they slipped one by the Canadian goaltender. So 7.5 minutes to go. Czechoslovakia 3, Canada 2. In pool play, Canada beat them 5-0. And I explained why, but man, no matter what it is, I'm watching the figure skating. What a great call on Ilya, the quad god, by me too, huh, Charlie?
You jinxed the hell out of him.
He was doing double flips instead of quads all of a sudden. I mean, I killed that guy, but poor fella. But anyway, these people, man, they care, man. The girl figure skating that blew it last night, she said, I had it after. She's in tears. I don't know, man. It's just good in this era to see. They ain't nobody sitting. The agent's not talking to them right before they start. Whatever competition it says, no, we're out on this one.
Yeah.
No, they're all in, man. It's. I don't know. I think the Olympics. I kind of enjoyed it. Oh yeah.
That's why the Olympics it's about storytelling as much as anything. You see these backgrounds where some of these most of these winter sports are not exactly high profile, especially in the United States. So you get the full commitment from these people. They're in it for the love.
I get it, but they've competed, and they're just, it is like life or death for them on the results, man, and how they do on such a short sample size of so many years of preparation. I like to see the athletes care.
Yes,
that's what I like to
see them putting a maximum effort
out.
All right, we'll take a break. We come back. Scott Rabelais from The Advocate with us. We'll talk LSU baseball and basketball with Scott. Live at Roca on Government Street, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN.
Enjoying the finer things in life is his forte. Let's bring in Scott Rabelais from The Advocate.
And return here at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City. Come by and see us for lunch here today.
Oh, man, look, you start off with the different appetizers like the garlic knots, the house-smoked wings, the hummus, brown butter mushroom, arancini, Brussels sprout. The Roca meatballs are outstanding. Salumi board, it rotates seasonally. Always good stuff. Different salads, everything from a Caesar, pasta chop salad, their sensation, burrata and beet salad. Different pastas, Charlie, the chicken parmesan, the vodka cannelloni, to rigatoni sorrentina sandwiches. That chicken cutlet's it's the truth, man. It is so good. Breaded chicken cutlet, salsa verde, mozzarella, sweet piquillo peppers, arugula, aioli in the sesame hoagie from the local bakery in St. Bruno's Bakery. Meatball is outstanding as well. I'm going to tell you, the eggplant parm, it's not your traditional. It's a little different with the freshwater mozzarella. You talk about good. That's what I'm having. And then the pies, the different specialty pies. You can do some with the marinara sauce, some with the white pies. So Neapolitan style, thin. You can eat a few pieces of pizza and not feel weighed down for the entire day. Here at Roca on Government. And look, you come in for dinner, I would highly recommend reservations. Not required, but just to secure your spot because we get really busy at dinner time.
Let's bring in Scott Rabelais. Rab,
Come on,
good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, Charlie. I got a question for you though.
All right.
Do all the medals count in the Olympics, or just the gold medals?
I think they all count, right?
Well, that's not what a lot of these people who are not from the United States think. They think it's just the gold medal count and stuff like that. We went through this 2 years ago at the Paris Olympics. The U.S. and China tied for the gold medal lead, but the U.S. had like 30 more medals overall. I say why, and they say, well, it's just that's the order, and it's pretty much the countries with the most gold medals also have the most total medals: Norway and Italy and the United States. But it's like all the medals count. It's called the medal count. All the medals should count.
Shouldn't you weight it though? Shouldn't the golds count for more?
That's fine.
Shouldn't the silvers count more than the bronze?
Yeah, 5, 3, 1. If you want to do it on a point system.
5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 1,
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, but it's it's just I think it's ridiculous. But you know what?
Snoop Dogg likes all the medals, Scott.
Well, yes, he definitely does. It doesn't matter. I tell you what, though, 2 years from now, when the Summer Olympics are in Los Angeles, the U.S. has won the gold medal and the total medal count every time they've hosted the Summer Olympics. So these people are not going to have any reason to complain because the U.S. is going to win both medal counts 2 years from now. So.
Yeah, the last time it was in L.A., the Russians didn't even go. So
a little dribbler past the Czech goalie to tie it up with 3.5 minutes to go. 3-3.
Yeah,
3-3. Canada and the Czech Republic are tied. 3:16 to go.
Compare the chemistry. So Charlie and I's chemistry compared to like Snoop and Martha Stewart's.
Oh, you guys are much better. Yeah, you guys are.
I kind of like them. I don't know, man. I'm getting nostalgic. I don't know, whatever. I've enjoyed the Olympics. I really have.
I'm easy going like Snoop, and Jimmy's kind of crusty sometimes like Martha Stewart.
There you go.
just a little salty, right? If we're gonna do that.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Scott, you were in the PMAC on Saturday night. It's another close but no cigar with LSU against South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've had a few days to digest this thing, but I mean, I hate to say it as bluntly, but Kim Mulkey said it too. The difference was at the free throw line. South Carolina made all but 2 of their free throws, and LSU missed 9. And I can't ask for anything better than the way Flau'jae Johnson played in the fourth period. Okay. The way she came out, some of the offensive rebounds, some of the shots she made, if you're telling me that you're going to be down 1 with 46 seconds to go, Flau'jae Johnson at the line for 2 shots to take the lead for the first time certainly in the fourth quarter, maybe in the second half, I'm going to take that, except she missed both of them, and South Carolina gets out of there with the win.
Yeah, I mean, they executed better down the stretch offensively. It was a very similar tale 2 years ago when the game Haley Van Lith tied the game at 70 with a 3-pointer, and then Angel Reese fouled out, and LSU didn't score again in the last couple of minutes of the game. South Carolina won 76-70. Not a lot of love here for Dawn Staley and for South Carolina women's basketball, but you gotta admire the way they relentlessly attack the basket and crash the boards, and occasionally at least allows LSU to get away with a fast, pretty unencumbered fast break. But they do that, and they were shooting the lights out of it in the first half. Tessa Johnson made all those threes. Second half, LSU was 3 in the fourth quarter. LSU was 3 of 8 at the line, and they didn't make a 3-pointer in the second half. And that's a recipe for disaster against a good team. But somewhere the guy I remember this guy called Hap Galati. You all remember Hap Galati?
Oh, Hap point after, yeah, absolutely.
When he would do the Hap's point after the Saints lost another game lost the game to opener to the Atlanta Falcons. I think it was Jim Mora's first game, the guy goes, "How long we gotta wait, Hap? How long we gotta wait?"
and Hap's
yes,
Hap,
yes, and Hap was
Hap-
like, yes, sir, I understand, yes, sir, yes.
I get entitled to your opinion, sir. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. And he was just beside himself. And, 18 straight. Even when Tennessee was at their best, the Tennessee Lady Volunteers, they beat LSU 14 straight one time when LSU was not good, and they were in the back of the 90s, and they were at their best. But LSU would sneak in and win one once in a while against Tennessee, even when they were really, really good. In the Final Four, they didn't. But
in
sports, a lot of games it is.
In sports, when you're trying to slay the giant, and I don't know if this applies or not, but it's half the battle is getting in position to win, okay? But then half the battle is closing the win, and it's a little bit of a mental. But LSU women's basketball, are they? I mean, I guess because this series, does that apply? Is what I'm saying to this game. I know when LSU played Tennessee, when they had that Sunday with Carol Lawson, it certainly applied there. LSU was not on the level of Tennessee at that time.
Right.
Does it apply here?
Even though they won the national title that year, they were far behind. They got blown out at South Carolina.
They would have been double-digit dogs against South Carolina in the final.
Look, there's not a lot of love for Dawn Staley, but there better be plenty of respect for her because she makes the adjustments that she needs to. Johnson & Johnson, Tessa Johnson, Raven Johnson, in the first half the other night, goes 7 out of 10. Kim Mulkey is screaming in the huddle, who's going to guard Tessa? She is screaming at these kids. Well, guess what? They took it to heart. Those two girls didn't even get a three-point shot off in the second half. But what happened? They went to something else, and Okot ended up with I think it was double-digit rebounds in the second half. She finished with 17. A lot of those were on the offensive end, so they started pounding it into her, and they got their points there. They make adjustments. I'm sorry, they're just a very hardened team. They are very difficult to beat.
Staley's the women's basketball version of Nick Saban because she's got the roster stacked. Okay,
yeah.
and her coaching is I thought she did a horrible job against Iowa in that semifinal. Okay,
and she may have that night, but they can knock you out with either hand.
But that's not the truth. What makes Saban great was he was coming with a loaded roster.
Yeah.
He was having a loaded deck, and she just stockpiles over there in South Carolina.
Scott, how does this bode for LSU moving forward? They're good enough to play with anybody. They just haven't gotten over the hump against a couple of these teams.
Yeah, lost to Vandy on the road, lost to Texas on the road, lost to South Carolina at home, beat Texas at home, which is a top team. Look, there's a handful of teams that are right at the very top. I think that would be UConn, obviously, who's still undefeated, UCLA, and South Carolina. Then Texas and Vandy are kind of fighting it out for the other number one seed. I think LSU's chances of the number one seed are by the boards. LSU can play with any of these teams, but it's getting over the hump against the very best teams. It's a very stratified thing in a lot of women's sports. I think women's gymnastics is the same way. You have a handful of teams that's really, really good at the top, then there's the next level. I think LSU's on that next level this year. They do have a lot of young players at key positions. I think even though they lose Flaugier after this year and Amaya Joyner, they're going to be a very formidable team again next year with Michaela Williams and Jada Richard and some of these freshmen getting older. But South Carolina has that advantage right now. So I'm thinking LSU is they can make it to the Final Four. I don't think anyone, including South Carolina, is beating UConn for the national championship again this year. I don't think that's really very much in the cards for an LSU. But I think they're more right now. They look like more of a Sweet 16 Final 8 team once again to me than a team that's going to make it all the way to Phoenix.
Let me ask you about the men's side, and not necessarily the game last night, but Barry Jawsbury has been a little bit vocal in the last couple of weeks. He was on with Matt yesterday, and hey, we're going to evaluate this at the end of the season, but this is expensive if they want to do this, and I know they desperately wanted Matt McMahon to have the kind of season where they wouldn't have to make this decision. But Scott, 5 games to go, the die's been cast on this season. What do you think happens next?
Tole Brown, our basketball beat writer, wrote a story about all the injuries they've had. They've had to deal with not just this season, but in past seasons, and they have had some problems. But at the same time, you got to, in modern college basketball with the portal and NIL, programs are rebuilding themselves very quickly. Texas A&M is a tournament team right now. Vanderbilt's men have made themselves into a very good team this season. It can be done, and they could, I was wanting for LSU's sake to say, oh, when they recruited some of these guys, okay, they Thomas is a good point guard, and those other guys are mid-major kind of guys, and they're trying to play at the SEC level, and so I don't know. Like you said, Charlie, it's very expensive. As we've all said who cover LSU, LSU seems to lately find the money when they need to find the money. I'm sure Jake Olson's got a little, honorarium from the student fund, his paycheck now since he's staying and not going to the Washington Commanders. But I think to me it's a tougher situation than just the guy's losing so badly. He's 16-51 in the SEC or something. He's got to go.
16-49.
I think we could give 16-49. Okay, it's you win about 25% of your SEC games. I think it's pretty
24.6.
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad, but given the current atmosphere of paying athletes and how much they just spend on football roster, and that's the most important thing. I think there's still a window for Matt McMahon to survive if they can show some sign of life towards the end. But obviously, not having Thomas down the stretch is a big deal. Is a big problem.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
It's 16-51, by the way.
It is 51 now.
Updated.
Okay,
to 2-11
so under
year.
24%. How's Curly Hallman? Did he have injuries?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
he's
five great running backs that all play.
He's considered his worst conference winning percentage in Curly Hallman. It's not close.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
If they don't make a move, it's because they can't afford to do it. They've decided they can't
afford not to.
I agree with you. Let's move on. Scott, you're on your way to Jacksonville tomorrow. You're going to be covering LSU baseball this weekend. Thoughts about the opening 4 games and what LSU hopes to accomplish this weekend? And they got a game, of course, this afternoon against Nicholls State.
Yeah, very impressed with the bats and impressed with the defense. Some of the starting pitching has been a little shaky, so I'm eager to see Kason Evans for a second time and William Schmidt for a second time, assuming he gets to pitch again this weekend, like in a Sunday kind of start. Obviously, he's taking a step up in class. I mean, they're playing Indiana at first. It's not Indiana football. Isn't that strange to say? They're not great like Indiana football.
Right.
It's hard to say. And then Notre Dame, and then who's not what they were, and then UCF, which can be a dangerous team. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how they step up in class. But the hitting's been tremendous. I mean, obviously Jake Brown is just on a tear, and then Kate Arambidi looks like you're going to get more offense in general from the catcher's position than maybe you got with Hernandez last year. And then, guys like Milam and, of course, Curiel's just coming around. He had to get off a little bit of a slow start. So I think generally it was encouraging for LSU. I think they have too many arms to figure out how to make these starting pitchers pitch better or find guys who can be the starting pitcher. But I was, in general, I was pretty impressed with LSU overall in the games I've seen. And but this will tell more, obviously, this weekend. This is probably their best group of tests, collective weekend test before they begin SEC play.
All right, Scott, have a safe trip. If you get a little extra time, meander down the coast a little bit to Flagler Beach. It's a pretty cool little community. Got nice little places to eat out on the water. That's just
Charlie. I didn't know you were a First Coast connoisseur.
My little tip to you there, a little hidden gem. Safe travels, Rab. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.
And we're brought to you by the
they I'm sorry, Canadians escape. You can see the relief.
They won it in overtime.
3-on-3, 10-minute overtime.
And they scored.
Being like a minute in.
Yeah.
So they escape. You can see they're just a big fun.
They were down, 4 minutes
So
ago?
they're laying a foundation. Rabs, we got injuries. Or the beat writer for the Advocate. I mean, can't afford it. I mean, laying the foundation, huh? Trying to set us up. Verge, poor mile in. I mean, that is a joke.
The SEC Network guys have been on it too. No, I mean, we can document this with numbers.
No, look, if you watch the Big Ten Network and they're talking about Pence and Charlie, they're giving excuses as well. Okay, 23.8% winning percentage to Curly Hallman's 32.2. significantly worse than Curly Hallman, who is known as the worst coach to ever come through this athletic program?
And I'll keep it at
you can't afford to run this back.
I'll keep it at apples and apples. It's one of the worst 4-year stretches in modern SEC basketball history for anybody.
Yeah, SEC, it's where, I mean, these are numbers. It's not opinion.
Right, exactly.
This is data.
Yeah. I can give you Thomas's shooting percentages in the games that he did play.
Yeah, give me a break, man.
They lost
man, Dale had the chicken pox. I mean, come on, man. Give me a break.
Brought to you by the Thibodeau Store, the Pierre-Port Store, Laplace, and LaRose. Locations are open. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. Since 1911, you go to thethibodeaustore.com, same-day pickup on all of the items at the website, delivery available on a lot of these things. If you're working outside in your garden, tons of gear and supplies that you can get there, your greenhouse kits, your peat pellets, your seeding mixes, all of those on special right now at the website. A lot of your cleaning supplies as we get moved toward the spring, your cleaning supplies and your storage containers are all on special right now. Outdoor cooking equipment, patio furniture, outdoor power equipment, seeders and spreaders, all of them available at thethibodeaustore.com. And again, you can get to all 4 of the locations from the one website at thethibodeaustore.com. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux, Highway 70 in Pierre-Port. Shop open until 5:30. Canadians do get by in overtime against the Czech Republic. 4-3 is the final. We'll talk to Wes Reynolds when we come back live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
Wes, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well, Jimmy. How are you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure you just got finished watching the Canadian-Czech hockey match.
I did, actually. So Canada got a little scared there. Now let's see if Team USA can follow suit here in about a couple hours.
Yes, indeed. Have you enjoyed the Olympics, Wes?
I have. It's nice to have, number one, it's nice to have live sports on during the day. That's always going to be undefeated. I don't care what it is, college basketball or golf or cross-country skiing or snowboarding or whatever it is. So, yeah, I've been watching a little bit. Been watching a little of the hockey and the skating. Love the bobsled. I love the luge. That's one of my favorite events because that announcer that does the NASCAR does a great job broadcasting that.
I've enjoyed it as well. Scotty Scheffler had a rough start again. It was as much as 100-1, but at one point on Sunday, he was the odds-on favorite. Looking back, and Morikawa pulls one out. From L.A., went to Cal, his first major in the Bay Area, and gets another win in the state of California.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed because I prematurely tipped Morikawa as one of my guys for Phoenix, and then he didn't show, really didn't do anything, so I was like, maybe I'm early on him. Maybe I mistimed him. And then what I did was I timed him a week too early. He goes ahead and wins last week, and I had a couple in the mix. I thought Akshay, actually, when he had a 5-shot lead on Saturday, I thought, okay, we're going to get our first outright of the year, and then he just really got neutral and couldn't go anywhere. And Sepp Straka, a little bit too little too late, did rally for a T2. But, Morikawa, something was coming, but I just didn't use him last week. And of course, he wins. That's the life of being a golf bettor.
What'd you think about Sam Burns this weekend?
Starting to come along a little bit. I mean, he's always a good putter, right? He's always one of the best putters on the PGA Tour. So he's going to make putts. It's just, I think he, like some other guys, are trying to find some length. Like you could see that his club head speed and the ball speed is up this year. A lot of these guys, Xander Schauffele, another one I noticed, they're trying to find a little bit of length because they're trying to find anything, I think, to compete with this guy, Scotty Scheffler, who, never seems like he's out of it, as you mentioned, shooting that 9-under round on Sunday. Just when you think the guy's buried, even when he kind of plays a B game, he's still in the mix. He never badly misses a cut or he never finishes, T52nd or something like that. He's just always there. So these guys have got to find something to compete with him.
Before we get to your picks for the Genesis this weekend, Wes, give us your thoughts on deciding to play the with and without Scheffler markets.
Yeah, look, I understand that the fear factor is real, and I have played the without at times. I did not necessarily this week, but yeah, you're giving up a little bit of a price, obviously. Now this week it's a little bit tougher because, or maybe a little bit easier if you want to play the without market, just because the prices this week, like nothing really jumped out where it's like, oh man, this number's way off. You know, because they condense these prices so much because you only got 72 in the field this week. So when you have these smaller fields, you're just not getting a lot of these bargains where you find a guy that you think should be 30 to 1 and he's like 50 or 60 to 1. So you're not really finding that this week. So I understand playing the without, especially if you're not getting all that involved in like placement markets or anything like that. And if you're just playing, okay, here's my however many guys, and, you know, I'm worried this guy's going to win. So I certainly understand that, even though he's never won here. He's got a couple top tens, but the fear factor is always going to be there with this guy.
And, you know, I can't remember another time watching a golf event, a PGA event, that they gave as much attention to a live result. And Anthony Kim wins Live Golf Adelaide late night Saturday night for his first victory in nearly 16 years. A big deal or not?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I think it's a good story. You know, I don't know what his ceiling is going to be with his game right now, and I'm not necessarily a live backer by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought it was cool that Anthony Kim, you know, a guy that had been out of the game for so many years, battled some things, obviously, off the course, and came back first win in 16 years, and he had to kind of put it in the dirt. Like, it's so, like, anti-live, because one of the criticisms of live is, like, hey, you're guaranteeing these guys money, you know, and it's not based on performance or results, whereas Anthony Kim comes back out there, doesn't get, like, a ton of money necessarily to go out there, has to go through that Live Golf Promotions event last winter to get, like, the last spot, basically, to earn his way on the tour. And what does he do? He goes in the final pairing with John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau and wins the event, wins it going away. So I actually thought it was a very cool story.
All right, let's get to the Genesis and who we're looking at this weekend in the L.A. area.
Yeah, we're going one down from Scotty to start. We're going with Rory at around 13 to 1 because this week out at Riviera, they've had a lot of rain recently in Los Angeles and in that area, right? So you're going to get a soft course. It's not going to play firm and fast like it's really designed to, where you get a lot of roll in the fairway. So it's going to be a soft course, and you're going to need some carry distance. And who do I think of when I think of a player that takes apart soft golf courses? It's Rory, because he hits it so long. And I thought he played solid last week, T14 at Pebble Beach, but did close with an 8 under 64 on Sunday, fourth in the field on approach. So he really didn't do much off the tee where he gained strokes, but you really don't do that a lot at Pebble Beach. And if Rory can hit his irons like he did last week, I think he's going to be right there. So Rory McIlroy, Patrick Cantlay, another local angle here, went to this event as a kid when it was the LA Open, played this a lot as an amateur, played this a lot at UCLA, fourth and third on his last 2 visits here. And he's one of those guys, like Morikawa last week, hadn't won in a long time. It has been a long while for Cantlay, and maybe he breaks the drought this week. I thought he played well last Sunday, led the field on approach, hit all 18 greens in regulation, shot 7 under 65. So Patrick Cantlay at around 28, 29 to 1. Cameron Young, a guy that I think we've been trying to time this year because we feel like something big's coming for him. He finally got that PGA Tour win last fall, the first one after having so many runners-up, and was the top American in the Ryder Cup. So maybe this is the time for him. He was the runner-up here a few years ago behind Joaquin Neiman. So I think big things are expected. Could deliver this week. And then I'm going to stick with Matt Fitzpatrick again, who's been 9th and 14th over the last couple weeks. Third in the field on approach and number 1 for greens and regulation overall last week at Pebble. So it's really been the putter that's held him back. And the putters have been the best club in Fitzpatrick's bag for pretty much most, if not all, of his career. And once that gets firing, he hits the ball like he's been hitting the ball. I think he's going to continue to fare well. And then I did play two bombs that I usually don't play these big prices, by the way, at signature events. You usually don't get these longer shots at signature events. But a couple familiar names that were triple digits, Wyndham Clark and Tony Finau. Wyndham Clark actually hit the ball really well last week, but he's second to last putting at Pebble Beach. But if you watch that event over the weekend, those greens were super slow. They were like 10, 10.5 on the cent meter. This week they're 12.5 to 13. Even with the soggy conditions, they got that air system underneath. So these are going to be pretty darn fast and speedy greens. And then Finau, another top 20, second top 20 in 3 weeks. So he's finally kind of playing some consistent golf. He actually led the field in putting at Pebble Beach last week and top 13 on approach. So starting to put at least some quality finishes together because his game seemed nowhere for most of last year, and he had that ankle surgery in the offseason. So I think Finau continues to play well. If you don't want to bet the outright, bet him on a top 20, bet him on a top 30. I think that's a good way to go.
Wes, before we let you go, Tiger Woods this week, when he was talking about whether he was going to play in the Masters or not, brought up this event plus Torrey Pines on the PGA Tour board as events they're considering moving to August, making it a bigger postseason. This is a major, major revamp of the golf calendar if they do this, probably in 27 or 28. What do you think the chances of that happening?
I think it could be a good chance, Charlie, actually, because Riviera here in 2 years, we were talking about the Olympics earlier in the conversation. Well, guess what the golf venue is in L.A. for 2028? It's at Riviera, and it's going to be played in the summer. So maybe moving that to the calendar is not a bad idea because it does kind of seem a little empty on the back end, even though I know we have that shortened FedEx Cup playoffs now. But without the PGA there in August, and with the PGA now having moved into May, I preferred it in August personally because I like that major near the end of the season and where it was more spread out and it wasn't so like clamped together. But I hope that they do it, and it'd be nice to have. You're going to have nice weather in the West Coast in August. It'd be nice to have something. And Riviera, like I said, is meant to play firm and fast. It's not meant to play like in these soggy, cold conditions. So hopefully they do make that move.
Oh, the California coast is the most desirable weather in the country in August, no doubt about that. But then they want to avoid competing with the playoffs with the NFL, right?
Well, we're talking about I don't know what happens to the February schedule, Wes, would be my question. If they move these two signature events to August and make it a part of the FedEx playoff.
Be Florida. Move up Florida.
Yeah, what becomes of the February golf schedule?
Yeah, you would probably think that they would have to maybe move Cahill, the Arnold Palmer, up to February because they're going to be starting the Florida swing next week, or move the Valspar, whatever the old Honda Classic was, if they move both of them, if they move Pebble Beach as well, because Pebble Beach, they summer early fall event, but on the Champions Tour is when they play that. So, it makes sense to make that kind of change, I think, because I think you want some more heft later in the summer, because it seems like for so many people when the Open is done in July, it's like, oh, my God, the season's over, and now we got to wait till January again, because a lot of people aren't going to follow the fall series in September, October, when you got NFL and college football going on.
Great slate of college basketball tonight, Wes. Anything you're on?
Yeah, I really liked the card last night, man. That was a very good card last night. We saw a lot of upsets, a lot of those teams that, are rolling along, and they get upset. So looking at this tonight, I guess we're going to use the same team last week. I'm going to use Clemson again. I went against them last week with Virginia Tech, and, they got them in an outright upset. But I'll lay like the 3 in the hook, and there's some 4 out there. Clemson at Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest might be a team that's a little bit DOA, and a Clemson team that's lost 2 in a row. They got handled pretty easily by Duke on Saturday, so I think they get right tonight.
Clemson minus 3.5 in Winston-Salem against the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. That's right. Virginia Tech beat them outright at Clemson last week. Follow us on Twitter, X at Wes Reynolds 1. Wes, we appreciate it, brother. Well, good luck to you, man. We'll talk to you next week.
You bet, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, don't forget our friends at Go Chevrolet in LaPlace and Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. My buddies Lee Carney and Nick Richard. Boy, the certified body shop, concierge service department, man, you talk about super convenient. You've heard me talk about how they'll bring up a loaner and give you a loaner for while they bring your car in to be assessed. They'll communicate with you and say this is what the recommended does, repairs that you need and or service that you need, and you approve it or not, and then they do it. You pay online. They return your vehicle back to you. I mean, it is unbelievably convenient with their concierge service department. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing. So, Go Chevrolet in LaPlace and Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. I don't just talk about the vehicles from Go Chevrolet. I drive a Chevy Tahoe that I got from my buddy Lee Carney at Go Chevrolet. Check out their inventory online. You can also get approved credit-wise online. You can check out our inventory, whether it's certified pre-owned. You can get the value of your trade-in all on our website at GoChevrolet.com. That's GEAUX, GoChevrolet.com.
Live at Roca Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wednesday Consensus Golf Picks are brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
And return here at Roca Pizzeria. Happy hour Tuesday through Friday from 2 until 6 p.m. Half off all house cocktails, draft beer, and glasses of wine here on Government Street in Mid-City.
All right, Max is fired in on his. He's got Tommy Fleetwood, who was on fire last season, had a decent performance last week in Pebble Beach. Best you can get at him is 22-1. Fitzpatrick at 37-1. McIntyre, Sepstruck. I think Sepstruck finished top 10 last week. And Adam Scott. He's got one top 20 pick this week, and that is Patrick Cantlay. So Cantlay is kind of it's a semi-consensus pick with Wes has him as his second choice, and Max has him as top 20. But the one common pick is Mr. Fitzpatrick. And Fitzpatrick anywhere from 35-1 at the local outlets here at the Bally's in the Queen, the DraftKings outlet. 37-1 available at Bet365. So Fitzpatrick, Cantlay, kind of secondary, kind of a half pick maybe, put a half a unit on that. But so that is our golf consensus pick this week, brought to you by our friends at downtown Dana Brown. Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime, 343-1111. Get in a wreck. I got in a wreck. Got to call Dana. Airbags deploy. Car is totaled. Got to get a rental car. Got to talk to the insurance company. Got to get the medical appointments set up. I mean, the whole thing, and Dana can help you out all of those. It's already a stressful pain in the backside in this process, but he's going to make it as pain-free as possible, try and relieve some of that stress along the way, deal with the insurance companies the whole way, and also maximize your situation. So they do this for a living, and not just a once-in-a-lifetime type of situation when you get in these type of accidents. You get in an accident, call them up at 343-1111, or you can go to the website at ocbrown.com. You can schedule that initial consultation, which is free, simply online by going to ocbrown.com.
Sepp Straka last week chipped in on 18 for Eagle, and that put him in a tie for second place.
Oh, he finished second?
Yeah, because of that Eagle.
I was trying to find the results. I knew he was.
It was tied. The Eagle tied him for second right before Morikawa made the putt to win it.
I had a little bit on him, and he kind of was. He was kind of flat in the final round, but he finished, with the Eagle.
You had to have a little bit of patience to watch it because we were watching, what's his name, fiddling around on the beach for half an hour. What you got? I forgot.
Richmond or Ridgeland?
Whoever it was. It was down there on the beach. I mean, I felt bad for Morikawa. He sat there in the fairway for 21 minutes waiting to hit his approach shot to win the doggone tournament while who was it Bridgman?
Bridgman, yes, yes.
He's he's playing on the beach. He's
I
done
know,
that
I know.
for quite a while. Yeah, so Straka ended up making an eagle by chipping in from off the green. That put him in a tie with Minwoo Lee for second place over there. LSU baseball coming your way here in about 20 minutes. Starting lineup has been announced. Tigers will bat this way. Derek Curiel leading off in center field. Stephen Milam batting second at shortstop. Jake Brown batting third in right field, off to a red-hot start. Catching today, Cade Aaron Beatty behind the plate. Zach York batting in the 5-hole today at first base. York is off to a great start as well. Just getting on base a ton. Didn't have a ton of hits over the first 3 games of the season, but his on-base percentage was really, really up there, and then he broke out with a good game at the plate on Monday. Seth Dardar batting 6th at second base. Trent Caraway at third today, batting 7th. Tanner Reeves in left field, batting 8th, and Mason Braun, the exciting freshman from Indiana, the DH, in batting in the 9-hole today. See if he says something about Stanfield after the game with that hand injury that has kept him out the last couple of days. Senior Zach Cowan on the mound, the right-hander for LSU, and we're probably going to see multiple pitchers today for the Tigers. So that's your starting lineup for LSU and Nichols, Curiel, Milam, Brown, Aaron Beatty, York, Dardar, Caraway, Reeves, Braun, and the righty Zach Cowan on the hill. Like Jimmy said, big slate in college basketball. We'll get his thoughts. Otterlocks was 4-1 last night. We'll give some previews to that when we come back here at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Driving in yesterday, back into town from a nice little small town Mardi Gras. So let me check out what Otterlocks has got tonight. That was a good idea. You went 4-1 last night.
There we
go. Good card tonight. We had a pick from Randy. We got a pick from Wes. Some early thoughts here before you get into Otterlocks later this afternoon.
So Charlie, Alabama, Arkansas. It's going to be a fun game. Both of these teams are headed to the tournament, but in Alabama, that would be it's going to be a fun game. The interesting thing is we know about Oklahoma. They were in dead last in the SEC standings for a while, but man, who's had more tough luck than them? We know about the double buzzer beater at the end of regulation and overtime in Columbia, Missouri. We know about the double-digit leads lost against Texas and
Alabama.
And Alabama. We know about Arkansas. They had the lead with under 25 seconds to go. And then they bounced back. They won 2 in a row. They won in Nashville. They won by double digits against Georgia. And so catching 10.5, it's strong consideration. I think Oklahoma can be competitive there. Arizona, BYU, this is a crazy game where Arizona led by about 10 with a minute to go. BYU stormed back, had the ball down 1 in the last seconds, but turned it over 12.5. Now, double bounce back here for Arizona because they lost their last 2. They were undefeated. Now they've lost their last 2. You heard Randy, he likes the points in that one. Has Vandy figured it out? They were one of the last teams to be undefeated. Then they lost 3 in a row. They've won their last 4 out of 5. They go to Columbia, Missouri. Missouri certainly a desperate spot here. Only 3.5 on the road, the Vanderbilt Commodores. And then Elijah Arenas, that's Gilbert Arenas' son, started out, he's played 7 games now. His first 4 games, shot poorly, scored under double single digits, like 7, 8, 9, 6 points in the first 4. The last 3, he's averaged 26 points a game. Even when he didn't shoot a great percentage from the field the last game at Ohio State, he was 9 for 26. He did get to the line. He shot 16 free throws. So USC could be a tricky spot. You heard Humans talk about those traditional geographic spot, those teams like Illinois and Indiana, the traditional Big Ten teams making that LA swing. So Illinois is making that USC UCLA swing starting tonight. 9.5-point favorites on the road in downtown Los Angeles.
And I don't have an opinion about this game, but I'm interested to see how it turns out. Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Ole Miss has lost 7 straight. A&M has lost 4 straight, so something's got to give. Somebody's got to get off the schneid here. And Ole Miss, the bottom is kind of falling
Oh,
out. They've lost 5 of those 7 games in a row by double digits. So they're not even – and the last 4 in a row have all been by double digits.
They really struggle to score, man.
And A&M, they need this game. This would be a tough loss.
Oh, yeah.
They're at 43 in the net. So they're in, but it's not like they're in with all kind of room to spare for the start that they got off to.
Damaging loss.
Yeah, this would really hurt them. I'm not laying 8.5, and I'm not taking 8.5 with Ole Miss. They're playing too bad, so I'm just going to kind of watch. But that's an interesting game to me.
We got to peek ahead also to a big one. Very odd non-conference matchup.
Oh, in Washington,
Michigan and Duke.
And Duke, yeah, in Washington D.C. This weekend.
So it's.
I'm not sure why it's there, but that's where they're playing.
Huh. Oh, Michigan 2.5-point favorites. They shot the lights out last night in Mackey. Boy, that was a special atmosphere, and they took them out the game immediately. It was like 36-16. I mean, just built a big lead. Purdue, a little bit of a – I think they got like as close as 9 with about 2 or 3 minutes to go. It was impressive performance by Dusty May's crew.
That is one of – I'm going to call out one of the top 5 wins in the country this year. You go into a top 10 net team on the road and you beat them by double digits. I mean, I can't think of very many more that were better than that.
Wisconsin went to Michigan and Illinois and beat them. Auburn went to Gainesville and beat Florida.
Yeah.
This past Saturday was a big one. Texas Tech going to Tucson and beating Arizona. So it's up there, but.
Michigan 10-0 in Quad 1 games and 19-1 in Quad 1 and Quad 2 games. Like you said, they only played 2 Quad 4 games, and that was way back, before the calendar turned. No, that
I thought that was going to be a very good hire. I didn't know he'd be this successful at Michigan. Dusty May.
They have they've crushed it. They're the best team. They're the best team going right now. Can't wait to see them play Duke on Saturday.
You think they're the best team?
Right now, yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's okay. Can't argue with it.
A week ago, I might have said Arizona, but right now, I'm Michigan.
Yeah.
Especially after last night.
Yeah, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays are the best ones. Hey, man, don't forget our Lenten specials over here at Roca as well. So the Primi Piatta, the calamari fritti, the salmon carpaccio, golden oyster pizza or a fried oyster sandwich, and seafood arancini over here at Roca. Our Lenten specials starts today.
Tomorrow we are at Snow's. Have a great afternoon, everybody. And stay tuned for Hunt on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.